While it's no secret that Minewind has an extensive list of unique items with specialized effects, the history behind each one, however, is a different story. We're going to be examining some of the basic differences between these very same items that feed us little bits of Minewind lore, and perhaps even uncover some of the hidden lore of the server itself. Welcome to Minewind. What makes a legendary or a god item into what it is? And are these pieces of equipment the most sought after possessions in Minewind? Or is there in fact something else? Whether it's the fancy lettering, a list of effects, or a lore inscription, some items are easy to single out as different from the vanilla counterparts that we know so well. But some are special for other reasons. Many have held the power that is contained within a Dern, or felt the reap of a death scythe. And although they are quite powerful in their own right, the truth is that these items are very common, and nearly infinite in supply. Very few are aware of the existence of weapons so powerful and so rare that they had to be classed separately altogether. God items can be easily identified by their red name and a lore entry. Equipment that falls into this category includes all of the trades available from the auction house. These are the traders with auctioneer in their name, and they offer plenty of affordable gods. These items hold up well in high-tier battles, and many, like the Brynhild and the Death Scythe, are a go-to for Minewind's most prominent fighters. Falling into the same category, we have what are known as demigods. These items hold similar qualities as their god-level counterparts, but are either lower on the technology tree or have less sought-after effects. However, they can be more difficult to obtain, as there is no spawn trader to supply the player base on demand. Typically, they are obtained as vote rewards or spawn as loot inside the chests of naturally generating structures. These are armors like the Iron Maiden, whose lore I think says it all about this particular piece, and weapons like the Firelink and Cursed Dragon Tooth, of course, which on their own are not bad, but when compared to all of the other choices out there, it would just be pretty foolish to use except in a very niche situation. Items deemed as legendary are a step above gods. Identifiable by their bold printed red names, their effects stand out just as much. This of course includes all of the spellbook sets and their associated armors. However, spells are not the only major advantage in PvP, and nearly every effect in the Minecraft meta can be deployed and countered on Minewind. But legends do more than just battle. Tools for building, traveling, and everything else in between exists as well. All major spell sets are available at spawn for a fair amount of degs, while some of the more niche legendary items can be obtained by special trades from one of the traders at Minewind Castle. But outside of handing over all of your hard-earned degs to the spawn NPCs, there are, however, a few items that are only obtainable as event prizes. This makes them limited in quantity, and therefore a bit higher in demand and price amongst the player economy. These are not to be confused with discontinued event items, since they were generated in a similar fashion but are inherently different from the items that are rewarded nowadays. It's no secret that limitation in quantity drives prices upward, and nothing is as expensive as event gear. Many of these were received as prizes in events long past. They have green names and a date to indicate when they were generated, along with their lore entry. Since up until just recently, green name event items were no longer available, they are still among the most sought after possessions in all of Minewind. And it's not hard to see why. Outside of being a rare collector's piece, event items can be quite useful as well. Quite a few are green name versions of the spell sets that are available as spawns a day, since this is how they were first introduced into Minewind, but some are completely unique. Their effects are also generally a cut above most legends as well. A fully geared player with event armors and weapons will have more advantages in PvP against one in just an auction set. But even events are common when compared to our next subject. So rare in fact, that all of which are one of a kind. And even some of those have been lost, never to be recovered. They aren't called mythicals just because it sounds cool. Awarded back in the early days of the server, these items were only given to select players for deeds that were accomplished by them. The last mythical to be forged into existence was in 2018, more than 3 years ago now. Along with a few other wildcards, these are the only items that have gold printed names. They are by far the rarest and most mysterious artifacts on the whole server. It's true that it has been quite some time since any word of these items has even been spoken, and sightings of many of their original owners are becoming rarer and rarer. It really is no surprise that many players don't even know these weapons exist. And although there were promises of a new mythical to anyone who could accomplish something never done before, whispers of such have grown quieter and quieter until all promises have vanished altogether. But myths have a way of staying alive, and the players who have seen them firsthand can attest to their existence. And who knows, Minewind is still changing, and maybe, one day, something mythical and never before seen will reveal itself yet again.